Okay, what is that sound? What the fuck? Okay, well. Gonna do this. There we go. Okay, well. We are back to playing Fire. No, not Fire. Pyre. So, where is it? That's Hades. Where's Pyre? I think we're gonna finish this today. So, let's do this. We are gonna end it. I think there's only one liberation rite left. And I have no idea who I'm going to release. But anyway, we'll get there when we get there. And it's been a week since I've played this. But thankfully, we are actually going to have a, well, basically a game of Pyre before the liberation rite. So let's do that. Return to the wagon after having prevailed against the fate in the liberation rite. I had a good feeling this would happen. Tizo is pleased that Pamitha is finally free. You succeeded in liberating Pamitha, who returned to the Commonwealth in glory. The last light of the star still shines for us above. At this point, what is to become of our plan? 65%. Needn't be the subject of our speculation. I trust that we will learn the outcome soon enough. Our actions to this point shall pave the way, perhaps our fate as well. So let's focus on this. We stand upon the brink of the last turn of the cycle of the rites. Soon we will have a final chance to get one of you home. Now, reader, after a little stall grazing, let's see where the downside shall be returning for these final rites. I think we've already read this before, but we're just repeating it because I quit before it saved. You turn back toward the darkness to look upon the last few stars too sour to relinquish their light. Scribe stars that burn to atop the sacred mountain. Yeah. Ooh. I think we're gonna fight the dissidents. Where are you? Dissidents. If we win... Oh, that's not... Oh, that's... Okay, you know what? We're 1 and 2 with Witch Udmeld. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna even up with them. That's a scorpion. Once you are faced to withdrawn, then although I wonder. He hesitates before saying anything further. You cannot sense his thoughts. I apologize. I was lost in thought for a moment. Let's make way for the spring of Jomer, when everyone is feeling more refreshed as much as possible. Let's read this on Legacy. On Legacy, the words of Thyrs, the Blessed Born. Reader, though you shall always bear a burden, it's much lighter than the burden of lonesome exile. Go forth and become free, then join with the others such as you, and lead with mercy, continuing to demonstrate your worth, and knowing that the Empire's fall form on the foundation of our Commonwealth. You shall cease to be a reader and become a voice both to the free and to your successors here, who shall take up this book when you no longer need it. The cycle of the right shall see that you, and others like you, shall be liberated, ere the coming of another age. May the stars shine brightly on us all. Ooh! I'm gonna be a voice. That's gonna be weird. I'm gonna be a streamer. After the liberation of Pamitha, you find the lone Mr. back in the wagon looking as though no such thing has just occurred this night. You think to see him tilt his head as you approach. Some words of congratulations are in order for this evening, I should think, reader. So congratulations... what the fuck? So congratulations on prevailing in the liberation, right? Surely Pamitha shall be most grateful, and her safe return unto your commonwealth ought to benefit the plan. Which all you now play a part. Man, that's XCOM level of fucking... Yep, that's gonna fail. As your adversaries of the fate, this must have been bitter loss for them and Daubert, although they must have known their chances were far from certain. Thus, shall we await the next turn of the cycle of the rites? Celeste and I return to our respective duties for the time now as Scribe's Gate is sealed. I wait the next we shall meet. When the next you may live up to the glory of the Nightwings in the eye of the 8 scribes, which is yet shine down for us. He trails off, then nods to you in his cordial manner and bids you a good rest of the evening. Okay. It is daybreak. You are to set forth now for the Spring of Jomer, for what appears to be the final time. Thereafter, you shall return here for the last exile's final chance at liberty. Fuck. There we go. I need to remember shit. Ooh. Spring of Jomer has always flown forth from the carapace of Bielanthius, the Scorpion, the Hive Titan vanquished by the scribe Jomer, the legend of whose demise is rather sordid tale. Perhaps you already read it in the book. Not all believe the book exists, of course, nor the great titans, nor the rites. I have encountered exiles believing that this titan perished quite by accident, rather by a cunning trap laid for Jomer. Many main. They took the titan for a common beast. Perhaps the Perhaps the stars shine down upon out of the way locals such as this one to ensure that they all alone shall witness the proceedings. Vocations. Yeah, let's go with vocations. What? E. There we go. You touch down in the Jomer Valley where you first faced the Fate and the Dissidents. You briefly wonder where they might be now and how they fare. You now have little time before having to set forth by land. The outside prairie first appears serene. It is not. The soil there accommodates only the region's brutish native vines and overbrush. The most likely food sources prove poisonous. Thus we journeyed further north. The climate there grew fouler to my senses, though the cured Jomer found it amenable. This sprawling valley, packed with long evaporated lakes, gives evidence to the monstrosities which roam this land. We found the region's western edge to be more pleasant on the whole. Therein we found source of fresh water, whereas over to the east, we found the edge of the land's most hideous decay. Well, that's depressing. Spent a quiet afternoon in the dry flats of the Fall Flat, the south route. Either way, the south route across the Jomer Valley is riddled with barren rock and bone. Surveying the area with some of your companions. Bertrand, report. We have discovered naught of any consequence. Your investigation yields nothing of note. The three of you return to the wagon for the remainder of the day, where you should have time to pursue your vocations. Jody. The daughter seems fidgeting with her horns. Blast these wretched things, reader. Have you any inkling on how unwieldy they become with age? I long for the days when the wound in my leg was chief among my bodily concern. Yeah, they look heavy. You note that the hull rather heavy, and express regret that yet seem to cause her some discomfort. Your sympathy is noted, but it does not change the fact of the matter here. 10 years or so into my stay within this blasted place, I first felt protrusions from my skull. They remained hidden by my hair for quite some time, but I knew this would not last. We all heard much of the demons in the Commonwealth, sinners, rightfully exiled, which assumed their rightful form. Thus, when my horn started to sprout, I took it as indication that perhaps this was indeed the fate that I deserved. She trails off for a while. I know somewhat better now. Anybody of her kind left down here long enough and left alive becomes like this. Something in the climate? Difficult to say. A disease of sorts, but not a deadly one. If anything, the opposite. If we live long enough, then we live longer still, like this, extending thus our sentence into exile. Sometimes I think if these horns are here to symbolize my sins, then surely they are going to recede if I ever return. On nights when this damned horn prevents my sleep, my thoughts inevitably stray to that of a hopeless idea. A naive hope that never leaves, despite a prolonged attempt to rid of myself of it. Horns are not worth the trouble, reader. She nods wryly as she heads out into the afternoon. Tiso. Shkak! Tiso would be pleased to go over the final parts of the rites with you. Tiso will review what observations you have made thus far about the various triumvirs you have confronted on your journey. He has keen insights about some of them. Oh shit. Skahihi! Tiso believes Nightwing have no advantage in your adversary, seeing as you have an imp among you. Okay. I need to level up Tiso now. I need to win. And win I should. Spring of Jomer. Oh, guys, can't help but wondering whatever happened to that number with the wings. You know the one. I guess she's kind of pretty, maybe, I suppose. Still around by any chance because, well, anyways. Oh, shit. Oh, I can't afford that. Okay. Appreciate you doing business, and you guys be sure to tell your friends, okay? Okay. Are you already 10? Nope. Ooh, that's neat. I thought I'm gonna lose it if I use it on the... God damn it. Nice. Okay. Tiso's gonna be good. Ingenious Imps by Jomir Manimane, the Alpha Chief. Okay. Special mention must be given... What the fuck? Special mention must be given to the downside's most prolific native creature, which we call the Imp. With all respects to our comrade, Hal, an imp himself, possessing of extraordinary intellect, most imps are driven by the simplest impulses. To eat, to drink, to procreate, to move, and to survive. These creatures, then, are symbols of this place. They are far more resilient than they seem, though wild by nature, they, like all of us, can learn. Hal insisted that imps are willing to be put to work, like other aspects of the downside. They wish more than to exist, but to exist with a purpose. Spring of Jomer. I often think of the carapace of the Hive Titan Beelanthius shall be an everlasting blemish on an almost splendid bit of land, but Jomer, in his brashness, felled the monster with a certain flare. Then the moon shone through the ridges of the massive carapace and shined upon the pulling ichor, turning into the freshest nectar ever to be tasted. The spring shall flow eternally, and those who walk within it shall experience the resplendent glory of the land. The stars began to fall in the spring with regularity. We now know how soon again they shall do so, and we wish for you to see it for yourself. Okay. Commence the rite. The mood is more dour than usual as you make preparation for the coming rite. A hush has fallen over your fellow exiles, and a sense of dread hangs in the air. At least one of your companions is unfazed. We sense the influence on one of our own. She is nearby, her mind corrupted, calls out screaming. Can thou hear it? Perhaps. She speaks of witch Udmeld, an adversary whom you expect to face this night. The witch that revered that ancient god undying and unyielding on this land. And on her consciousness. We may attempt an exorcism here, for the conditions are unique, and she may not be expecting us to abetting ye. However, 'tis a risk, upon her mind and mine own, although a worthwhile risk, perhaps. Bertrand seems to think that Udmod can be weakened somehow through the coming rite. Then the stars above to begin to shimmer with their strange light. Man, the music is kicking up. There, the star of Islak, and the adversary worships it. Whom it represents, fixates upon the star-wielding one, if you doubt or invoke its power. Do so, and our adversary Udmil shall be emboldened, but also left vulnerable to our own sorceries. We may yet limit her ambition, thus. Richard asks you to invoke the star of Islak in the rite. Consider her wish. What the fuck is Islak, though? There it is. Okay, better AI.
Reader, the Commonwealth, your home.
Yes.
Today it is aflame. Much like a stack of books.
That's not my fault, I'm right here. I just said it's not my fault.
Because of your outlandish plan.
I was right here.
Not that you shall live to see this place again. Your attempts at revolution shan't succeed.
Hey, I got 65%
So by all
chance.
means, keep trying. As for myself,
If that was an XCOM
I
shot,
shall enjoy presiding over these remaining rites.
I would not take it. If I'm being honest. What do I have here? You have returned once more unto our presence. We sense something on here. Ooh. Bertrand slithers forth and gazes at her adversary. Oh, maggot, we should have known. But Bertrand does not respond. Hey, Nightwings, one shall benefit you. That one sources are mere pittance to the overwhelming might of Islak. Soon you shall see. Reading 1. Thou invoke the star of Islak, so then beware. Through our sorceries shall only be cast into the hopeless doubt about her fate upon her god. It shall be done if we prevail, but only if. Our mind shall perhaps be forfeit otherwise. Seems that to the outcome of this night, either Old Mill shall be personal. Oh boy! Oh boy, boy, oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna use Bertrude then. And Hedwin. Tizo, I need Tizo because I want him to level up.
Predictably decided.
I face Unmut without fear. Nice. Now then, Nightwings. You wish to mock his luck, your infinite, your foolishness shall be among the first to suffer.
Commence. Oh, you poor thing.
Fucking hell. Nice.
Adversary's pyre is the first to falter.
Fuck!
Milda casts herself into the pyre.
Okay. Just pathetic as expected, you inconsequential maggots.
Well cast. Oh. Back.
What the fuck? Nice.
Blow against their pyre. The Nightwings now are closer to achieving victory. All of the Nightwings vanished. Your pyre cannot take much more of that.
Fucking hell.
A show of strength from the Nightwings' opponents. Zap. The withdrawn banished to the last. Blessed be. Once more like that and we are finished here. And it is done.
Fuck!
The withdrawn prevail. Perhaps a stroke of fortune ought to be thanked. The rite is complete.
Fools, especially the maggot, especially the... Ha, today that you think you can staunch a power is like utter madness. Bertrude remains silent in all of this. What have we done? What have we done? The dying god impinges on her mind. Begone with thee, begone. Begone with thee, begone. Bertrude retreats into darkness. You said something happened with her after the withdrawn prevailed in this rite. Yes, suffer for should carry always the black soul of its lack. Remember it. The day to overstep thy bounds again. Fuck.
Boundless are the teachings of the scribes.
Come on!
May misfortune find you ere the turning of the stars.
Oh. Shit. No one speaks further of the withdrawn and back to the Black Wagon. Everyone is instead preoccupied with the right that is to come. Our final chance at freedom looms ahead. Is that what I am to understand? Stars always shines with truth. The ending of the cycle of the rides is now upon us. Looks over to you. Please look forward, reader, sir, and see this for yourself. You may as well surmise that where we are going next. Others turn to you as well. You turn toward the wagon's door. You shall know, you shall see out there. Now, however, the time has come to face it. The dim fading light of the final star still pierces through the darkness, demanding your attention, guiding you toward the end point of your path. You see plain the golden star of Solium. This is the last time, baby. Oh shit! We're gonna fight that guy? What's his name? Oralek? You're summoned to the fall of Solium for your 7th and final liberation rite. Thus shall the cycle of the rites be ended for an age. You sense that, if the rites ever shall commence again, it shall not be during your lifetime, or that any of your companions, even the longest lived ones. The stars reveal to you one thing more: the adversary from whom you'll face shall be Oralek. Already has crossed the Scribe's Gate and await your arrival. The 8 scribes created the Nightwings in their own likeness. Perhaps it is only fitting that the Nightwings should, in the end, be forced to face themselves. It's a shame that we should have to confront Oralek in the end. Our goal should never have been cross purposes. I am surprised that this is what the scribes desire. For now, maybe the best that we recover until dawn. Regain your strength best you can for the coming trial. Rest well, reader. The group disperses as exhaustion sets in. At dawn, you fly to Mount Elodiel to make a final effort to achieve your plan. 6 is set, fuck, and get somebody home. But who? Nothing. Probably gonna send Headwind. Fuck you!
Your so-called friends. You are accomplice to their hateful plot. They are exploiting you. You shall never have your freedom.
Oh, is that chicken? By dawn, you're already up and about after a troubled slumber. The black wagon is prepared for its final voyage to the fall of Solium. No one speaks. We're going to die. As you lift into the sky, the lone minstrel raises his voice and cutting through the somber mood. Reader, a certain olden ballad comes to mind just now. I think it may befit the circumstances. Perhaps it may help to pass the time along with our flight. Would you mind it very much if I were to play these songs for the Nightwings? By all means, baby. You urge the lone minstrel to play his ballad so that all among you might hear it. He begins without another word. Your flight takes you near to where you breach the storm wall and the deathless tempest. With the climate in the downside intensifying, you wonder if the storm shall spill forth from its confines and start to ravage other regions of the land. Let's go here then. I wanted to have a vocation, but it touched down amid this quiet solitude of Mount Alodiel to make pilgrimage to the summit for one last time. There, one last liberation rite shall commence. There, one last exile shall regain his or her freedom, all others shall remain to carry out their sentences here in the downside for the remainder of their lives. And in the Commonwealth, the plan of which you are a part of shall either come to fruition or shall be suppressed. After having landed, you join Bertrude on an expedition on the monument of Molten Millith. For what's likely to be the final time, we beseech you, ancient gods of the last age, we invoke thine aid. We have traveled far to gain to the summit many times and stood steadfast with our compatriots who seeks to leave this place. We now offer you our services eternally if you would grant us such a boon to ensure our triumph in the coming night. Long would we serve you, O ancient gods, should you accept our offer, here and now. Soon she is finished, you return to the wagon in silence, feeling though Molten Millith has shown you favor. At dawn you shall begin your last ascent. For now, yes, vacations you have to spare. Bertrude, You notice Bertrude studying the Beyonder crystal. She sets it down as you approach. The Maori waited for Bakita her time to summon her. She insisted that we are too young to understand. She must be referring to Sandra. It seems that Bertrude may be able to invoke her. Stubborn that one, possessing an ancient understanding, olden ways and olden times, many centuries of history, knowledge of the 8 scribes themselves held captive there, within the green-tinged stone, in that raid's own memories. Would that we could extract them in some way? Perhaps you could induce the raid's obedience, reading one. For she did not. She claimed obligations only to you. Although, she stops to think very carefully. The Beyonder crystal is not to be tampered with. Your fellow exiles know that its use at your sole discretion. She backs away from you, still thinking to herself. Ignores our inquiries about this reading one. Our reasoning has taken us elsewhere. Her refusal to cooperate is like to be an ancient warning of some sort. It is possible that others in the solid box know something of her, but we shall not tamper with further with such sorceries ourselves. That the raid refuses to cooperate suggests her predicament is suitably deserved. She heads out in a huff, but just as the air grows still and quiet, you sense something from beyond her crystal. Mouthy raid, she says. Can you believe it, brother? To be so young and foolish again. Sandra the Unseeing laughs at herself. Your proximity to the Beyonder crystal must have been sufficient to invoke her in this case. That Cronus of yours is far too curious, I think. It appears that even she has learned her lesson in this case. Thank the stars, I am beholden to no more than anyone among you the night wings at the time. And thank the stars that happens to be you rather than her. And if that crone attempts to lay fingers on my Beyonder crystal again, I shall have to torment her dreams till she's my age. Do feel free to mention that if it comes up. Now, farewell. You know where to find me, lovely reader. She vanishes. It seems Sandra proved resistant to Bertrude's suffering. If so much history is trapped within the Beyonder crystal, there it shall be remain for the foreseeable future. Return so soon, reader. Not that I'm complaining. Ah. Go forth and venture. Tizo. Perfect. A hidden power with the turbulent where it seems to be awakened with Tizo. Okay. Wider area or... Yeah, let's do that. There we go. Alright, like my man. Ooh. A messenger imp somehow tracks you down to the fading glory of Mount Alodiel and delivers you recent news and rumors from the other side. Specifically, the imp shared the details regarding Pabitha and what became of her since she was liberated at the fall of Solium. She found herself back in the homeland of her enemies, where despite her connection to the High-Wing remnants, her past transgressions were forgiven. In fact, she was asked to join the military council given her unique background, yet she refused to cover it and instead be demanded to be reunited with her sister Tamitha. But when they threatened her with sentencing to exile and insisted that she take the opportunity, Tamitha said at last that she would think it over and return with the decision soon. Next she was seen, however, was among Volfred's sons and daughters of the revolution, where it is said she has attached her loyalty, at least for the time. You thank the imp! God damn it, I can't read today. You thank the imp for bringing you this news, which soon gets your companions talking. I hold to hope that both the Tain sisters one day shall join together as part of our good cause. The two of them can help lead us toward a brighter future. I wonder where her sister is right now. I'm sure if she cares for Tamitha, I'm sure of it. If she and her sister get a chance to set things right between the two of them, or that she finds some peace some other way. We suspect the ancient enmity between the winged and the flightless shall not be soon resolved, if ever at all. These are wishes for Tamitha to find her way and her sister in the Commonwealth. It seems to be the little bird is no more free than when she was here. Despite some mixed feelings, the news of Tamitha's liberation fills you and your fellow exile will resolve. Nice. That was planned. That was my plan. You stand before the scribe's gate, with your companions and gate guardians there as ever, but you sense something different in her. What? The exiles of the Night Wings. We shall not meet again after the coming right. Turk and I shall be time we take a rest, I think. Greetings, Celeste. I would tell you that the Night Wings are prepared, though this time I am certain anyone amongst us feels thus. We have a duty to uphold, Tariq. And then what, Celeste? Then nothing, not for the right or us. Not till the dawn of a new age. Now, Nightwings, step forward, please state your names and what is that you seek whilst crossing the scribe's gate. Fuck. I can't fucking read today, man. What the fuck? One by one, your fellow exiles approach her, now with sureness in their step. If I may, my name is Volfred Sandalwood. I long yet to see an age where freedom is one's birthright and no longer are good people such as these forced to contend for it. We are called Big Bertrand. We seek to fulfill the plan of Sandalwood. We are fond of him and his beliefs and then go about our business. Oh, my name is Bay, and I'm here because the scribes, this is the path they have shown me and all of us. I like it when they call to me. Tisa believes that this ancestor are watching over the Nightwing, seeks to live up to their legacy. I'm Captain Judariel. I'm here to honor the commitments I have made to my companions and to the common goal, which we have come to share. I'm Hedwin. I wanted more than anything to see the one I love back on the other side. But I think I'll be okay. So I just want my friends to be okay as well. Finally, Steph once more. You, a crippled scholar who seek revenge against the Commonwealth, which wronged you, and who managed to come this far with this group. Oh yeah. That's my backstory. Shit. I want revenge, baby! I'm a vengeful son of a bitch. The gate guarders observes you for a moment, then motion past the archway toward the summit. The scribes said, "Zip the fuck." The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome. Go forth with glory. Except for you, Tariq. You stay right there. I thought you said... The rites are not yet ended, Tariq. He looks to her, then over to the rest of you. Pardon me, everyone. I shall be there when the stars align. The gate guardian and the lone minstrel remain together as the rest of you depart. Okay, here we go, boys. This is the last one. You have gained the summit of Mount Alodiel for the 7th time. The final time in which any one of you shall have a chance to leave the downside. Ooh, 6 me. Okay. Thank you for visiting on such a short notice, reader. I understand you have important matters to attend to. I do. So let me be blunt. Please listen for a moment then. I know this whole affair is coming to an end, all of it. I sense that binds you from the rites becoming weak. Which means soon you will not need me anymore. Not that you have needed me at any point, but still. My services will not be of any further use. I would love to tell you that this means I shall be free from my eternal prison. For some of my beyonders, the spectral triumvirate banished for eternity trapped within the rites, shall be a release. My accomplices are bound by weaker words than those who have bound me. They shall fade away, and I think, finally rest. I, however, shall remain. She hesitates for a moment. Thus, I have a proposition for you. I do not know where you shall go from here, but I ask you to take me there, wherever shall be. By that I mean, take this stone prison of mine and keep it. Do not just leave it. All your predecessors have, each time their stay among the Nightwings reach an end. Soon the Beyonder Crystal shall serve no use at all except to keep me trapped. I am content to remain thus, for I have little choice, but I would prefer to do so in your company. Ah. For I do enjoy your company, reader. This may not be much of a compliment, but I assure you that I much prefer your company to an eternity of solitude. I have no wish to see you gain in years and to eventually decay while I will remain unchanging, but I should rather have more years while having contact, even if those years to be brief. They shall afford me many more in which I might think back upon our times. Nor do I expect you to accommodate my needs, for I am well aware I have my limits in accommodating yours. That is to say, I wish you to go forth after this night and live your life however you see fit. For your own sake, may all this right business enrich your coming days somehow. And in considering that life after this night, if you think that there may be a place in it for me, however small, then once again, I simply ask that you take me along. Hey, Papa Zeb! Welcome back! That way, if you should ever wish to visit me again sometime, you could. And I would like to have that as an option more than not. My request here is a selfish one, for there is little I can offer in exchange, other than what my little companionship is worth. Perhaps I could lull you into sleep once in a while. Who knows? You could always try to sell the Beyonder Crystal for a reasonable sum somewhere, or something to that end. There must be someone out there with an interest in this thing. So then, you have heard my sad little proposition. What do you say? What's up? How are you? I'm good. I'm really good. The coronavirus thing though, it's here now. So that's something to worry about. Sandra wishes for you to claim the Beyonder Crystal for yourself. Why not? Sandra has proved to be kindred spirit. Yeah, she is. You would rather not part way with her. You grasp the Beyonder Crystal and set it into the folds of your clothing. Sandra sends this and make a sound as though surprised. Thank you, reader. How about you? You okay with all these things going on? She is at a loss for a moment, then. Let us go then, from this place. Go and face your last remaining adversaries, and may you crush them under heel and achieve the outcome which you seek. I believe you shall prevail. She disappears into the zone for now. Hey, keep it with you. Oh, just the, the corona thing. It's been spreading around. Japan is 1,000 people now. Hey guys! I guess you probably heard the big news, huh? Yeah, I'm well going out of business here, I guess. I just bought a thing for you. Just hasn't been the same, What with the stars all fading out and stuff. Anyways, just wanted to say you guys are great. And I'm sure I'm gonna miss having you guys as customers and all of that. But yeah, I'm fine. It's great. Falcon Run, I'm gonna miss you, dude. But I got some good news, though. All my stuff, it's all on sale now. I'll throw a little extra there for you, okay? So you enjoy, maybe I'll be seeing you guys around, okay? 5% off! Thank you, man. Great. Fuck you, Falcon Run. They didn't buy nothing, Dad. Okay, here we go, final. Oh boy. You have gained the summit of Mount Alodiel. For the 7th time, very few stars remain above to light your way as you await the commencement of the final liberation rite. The lone minstrel will find you clutching the Book of Rites, seeking there perhaps some bit of wisdom that has eluded you thus far. Reader, we may not have a chance to speak again after this. I may have to go. I wish to say that I am grateful for having made your acquaintance, and I shall remember you with fondness. I wish you well. This night and always, go forth with glory. Then he looks up and extends his hand in friendship. You clasp it. See, Judira has joined you. All of your companions are there with her, in fact. Reader, let's prevail here tonight. I have taken orders from many different leaders in my day. You should know you are a rarity among them. Let's get through this one together, my friend. We all believe in you. When is Cyberpunk? It was supposed to come in April 16, but they delayed it to September. I don't know the exact date, but it's in September. I think September 20. I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm excited for that. And Vampire Bloodlines. And Dying Light 2. And holy shit. There's a lot of games coming out. Let's get through this one together, my friend. We all believe in you. But in April, we'll have really good games, which is... I've tried the Resident Evil 7 demo. It was good. I was actually not thinking about getting them, but it's pretty great. Also, Resident Evil 3 Remake. That's fucking good. Yeah, there's a lot of games coming out. And Doom Eternal. March 20. Same as Animal Crossing, March 20. So, rip and tear for Animal Crossing. Tizo wants you to know he has the utmost faith in you. Thank you, Tizo. Reading 1. Thou art both wiser and less irritating than most others of thy kind. We have learned something from thee, and we are grateful. Ah. Payday 2? It's been a while since I played that. And they're still updating it, right? Yeah, there's a lot of weird choices they made in Payday 2. Hi. The others, they said they wanted me to join them. Look here, sir, here, man. The scribes are watching us. It is strange to me to say, given the circumstances, for a meeting, reader, but it has truly been a pleasure. Onward now, let us see. 67%. 67. That's XCOM level of not gonna take that shot. You look upon your fellow exiles, your companions, with whom you have withstood the downside, and with whom you shall now conduct this final rite. Begging your pardon, but my time has come. We shall see each other soon. He departs after this night, and the outcome of Wolfred's plan, the plan of you... Why are there two of them? Plan of which you all have been a part shall be decided one way or another. For now, all you can do is strive to prevail against your final adversaries, so that one last companion may go free. You rise to join your fellow exiles in the remaining stars ignite. Mere distance cannot separate our spirits. Man, that's good. I chose that. Here we go. Yeah, let's not do Islam. Oh, and also Baldur's Gate 3 is early access. I'm gonna deep dive into that.
For one last time, upon the fall of Solium, dear reader, hear me for one last time. For soon, the few remaining stars shall fade away, leaving you stranded there for your remaining days in that forsaken land where you deserve to be. The rabble that you roused here in the Commonwealth shall be put down. The exiles whom you liberated, all shall fall in line. But first, let us get on with this last liberation rite.
Man, I love the voice
Face
acting.
none other than yourselves. Each so unlike the glorious Nightwings of yore. 'Tis a shame that one of you shall soon be free, for you deserve each other.
The pyres burn and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. But before the lone minstrel can concur, as per the custom, not another word. The demon Orlex slowly raises his clawed fingers to his mask. The false Nightwings have arrived at last. Long have I awaited this. My freedom once was stolen from me, then I was cheated of it, here upon this mountaintop. You may now attempt to take it from me once more. He stands there for a moment, silence. Then, Orlex dons his mask and stands prepared. May these damn rites cease forever for the misery they cause. Oh, come on! Nightwings, we shall not meet again after tonight, for the cycle of the rites is all but ended. Thus I would have your decision. On whose behalf shall you conduct the final liberation rite? The one whom you anoint, or the exile, or else the exile Orlex shall be returned. Godspeed, reader. You know what it is at stake better than I. I have utmost faith in you to make this best decision and conduct this rite with glory. Nightwings, the star's remaining light grows dim. Your decision, please. Headwind, we're gonna release Headwind. This time, man, I really wanna win this one. It is time now to choose who, if one among you, shall go free this one last time. The rest of you shall remain in the downside to the end of your days. One by one, you meet the gaze of each other of your fellow exiles. Jadariel, Tizo, Bertrude, Bay, Volfred, Headwind. Your fellow exiles, your companions, your friends, together you have come up this far, but now the downside and the rights conspire to tear your group apart and disrupt your plan. The fate of your friends in the Commonwealth may be hinged on the decision you are about to make. But with a glance, you assure your fellow exiles that you know what to do.
One final opportunity for salvation. Too bad for the rest of you.
Jadariel, you already have 2 chances and you fucked it up. Well, technically I fucked it up, but... Headwind, it's your time now. Your first chance. Reader, my friend, everyone. No matter what happens here tonight, thank you, and I love you all. Your choice is cast. As for your other companions, you sense a clarity of thought and purpose in each of them. They stand ready to support Headwind, as well as you.
Who shall lend him support?
Bay.
Bay.
Ambassador describes to grant me all of this final chance that we might free our dear friend Headwind. Tizo.
Tizo.
Hehe. Tizo is ready to do whatever it takes to see Headwind regain his freedom this night. Those are to be my adversaries then. And who is it, I wonder, who asserts his will over that group? You sense Orlex searching for you, almost reaching out to you. You, the shadow of the false Nightwings. They are nothing to me but you. Who would relinquish your own liberty for sake of them? Strange. It is fitting then that I should have faced one such as you. Then Orlex stands at the ready, signaling for his 2 allies to do the same. By the light of dawn, the cycle of the rite shall cease. Let us see if we can finish this ordeal before that time. The sky above begins to shudder. The final liberation rite is about to commence. Tariq! I am prepared, Celeste. Then let's our song this evening shake the stars themselves. Aye, Celeste. Let us make sure of it. I'm disappointed to see you here, Tizo, opposing me once more. Tizo is very upset and calls for Orlek to cease speaking to him. Orlek seems to stare at the imp for the moment. It is a shame that you are caught up in the middle of all this, little one. Your mind has been poisoned against me. Tizo insists Orlek is wrong and urges him to stop what he's doing. I am sorry, Tizo. Now, I shall only stay out of my way.
The final chance at liberation.
Oh, fuck. Oh, come on. What? Okay, fuck. God damn it! Okay, fuck me. Man, it's so hard to control Tizo though. The sky rains ash. Soon your Pyre all mingle with them. Just then the skies above begin rain down fire, the final throes of the cycle of the rites and ending of the age. What the fuck? God damn it. Nice. Nice. All of you, you shall rot here, you shall rot. As I have all these many years, you false night wings would deny me once again my rightful liberty. You who deny that liberty to all shall all of the tremors you faced and vanquish under the guise of the traditions of those blasted scribes. Come, let us continue with these glorious affairs.
How he has changed, that Wryl. Grown old and bitter, lo, these many years.
What?
Woe is you. Your fire
Fuck!
weakens.
Okay, bad. Nice. Okay, that's a bad idea. Fuck. Fuck me. Okay, fuck. Oh, come on. Oh boy. Nice.
Goodbye, headwind.
Come on! God damn it! Get it! Oh, come on!
The orb taken.
Okay, fuck. Your pyre flames now threaten to die out at any moment. Orlick makes a sound like laughter, but says nothing as he prepares one last assault against your side. Nice. So the full sniping bury their fangs at last. But that cannot be your finest effort. You think you deserve your freedom more than I? Then fight for it, damn you. What the fuck? Nice. Nope.
And there it is, at last. The true Nightwings proved their worst. The Nightwings, on the other hand, Thus ends the liberation rite. And thus, the scribes have chosen.
Damned. Orlick appears, his head bowed. For someone who has triumphed, he sends no pride in him. You posed a reasonable threat. Now, farewell. You look upon Orlick for what you expect shall be the last time. Any moment now, the Shimmer Pool shall engulf him. Any moment now, he shall regain his freedom and return to Commonwealth he has not seen in half a lifetime. Any moment now, the cycle of the rise shall end until the last dawn of the new age. Any moment now.
And thus, the scribes have chosen. And thus, the scribes have chosen.
What's going on?
Thus, the scribes have chosen. No. Nightwings. Reader. What have you done?
Nothing happens. Soon Orlick tenses up. Each prior time upon the fall of Solium, the Shimmer Pool has opened, following their liberation rite, and taken whichever exile prevailed. Now all is still, and the light of the stars above has all but died. He senses a growing fear that it is already too late, that the Shimmer Pool shall not reveal itself again. Orlick laughs to himself. The 8 scribes saved their greatest treachery for last. What have you done? I don't know. Then something else catches his notice. Wait. Sudden rush of starlight cascades through the stillness of the summit. The Shimmer Pool has appeared again, different somehow, but open. Orlick looks upon it, but it does not engulf him, or at least not yet. It seems I was mistaken then. The 8 scribes. This is not their greatest treachery. It is their greatest jest. The Shimmer Pool is flung wide open. It seems that all are worthy now. Hey, baby! Just then, Hedwyn approaches. Then, we all can go back? Hedwyn moves closer to the Shimmer Pool, but... Halt, Hedwyn. It is a warning. Hedwyn recognizes it as such and heeds it. The Shimmer Pool has lost most of its strength. You step inside, and you shall surely perish in the current. Of that, I can assure you. Wryl shakes his head. Then, I am cheated once again. No. The Shimmer Pool is revealed, and one of you may still return as planned. But Wryl, as the victor of this liberation rite, that ends an age. The choice of who is its to return is no longer decided, but it's yours. Having to choose from them those anointed, ere the last light of the stars is extinguished, the rites draw to an end, and this is the final trial of the scribes. The final trial of the scribes? All that remains then is for me to choose myself. Is that what you are saying? If that is to be your choice, then yes. How is this even a choice? What reason would I have to... Wryl, make your decision quickly, lest it shall be forfeit. I do not know for how much longer the light of the stars shall offer you this gift. Why do I hesitate? To have come this far, to have regained what ought to have been already mine all those years ago. Why now would I hesitate to claim my right? The final trial of the scribes. What? I'm not gonna manipulate him. Hey, sometimes we have to let people work their shit out, you know? I'm not gonna do that. The decision is to be made here belongs only to Wryl. He prevailed in the final liberation, and it is only fitting that he, at last, decide. I have come here to reclaim what is mine by right. I choose my freedom. You sense his mind is set. In this same instant, it feels to you as though he is set free. Then it is done. Wryl stands very still, although his features seem to soften just a little, and then he is gone. Wryl regained his freedom. Accept this, for it is done.
Godspeed, Wryl. By the scribes. No stars remain aloft. The cycle of the rites. It is finished. The Commonwealth. What shall become of it? What shall become of us? Nightwings. The opportunity to gain your freedom from the downside. Was it not enough?
That night, the exile Wryl returned to the Commonwealth. He was to be the last. The stars had faded, and the cycle of the rites had run its course. He found the Commonwealth in a state of unrest. Spurred by the efforts of 3 liberated exiles, Wolfred's Sandalwood revolutionary plan had incited the masses. These exiles, in the starless sky, portended the return of the scribes. The rulers of the Commonwealth pushed back. Fighting broke out in the streets, in spite of Sandalwood's intentions. It was then that the high-wing remnants chose to strike. Fuck! This is gonna be a bloodbath! Allegation that high-wing remnants were in the league with Sandalwood were never proven. However, there was no denying the result of the two-pronged attack. After enduring for almost a millennium, the Commonwealth had fallen. The new Saurian Union declared its sovereignty in the next year. Among these changes, its elected leaders ushered in, they vowed to never cast their people into exile. And they abolished the old Commonwealth decree forbidding literacy. Okay, that's a win, that's a win. Today, we still remember all of this. And we remember the exiles of the downside whose deeds led to the dawning of our age, whether they returned or not. Hey, I didn't want him to choose someone to learn what became. Okay. Let's start with the enemies. What happened to liars? After the final liberation rite, Lendl refused to believe in the rites had truly ended. He would sit through night after night, consecutive night, staring into the blackness of the sky. Epic music? Yeah, Supergiant games always have epic music. He would sit through the night after consecutive night, staring into the blackness of the sky, awaiting any kind of sign that he might gain another chance at freedom. No, you won't. You're a fucking liar, dude. No sign ever came. His fellow accusers started to express concern for him. Survival had become their top priority once liberty had slipped from their grasp. But Lendl dismissed them as weak fools. He insisted rather forcefully that any evening now the stars would shine for him once again, and mark the way towards his inevitable freedom. He was of course mistaken. The others in his triumvirate were left with little choice but to abandon him. After that, the exile known as Lendl the Liar was never seen again. However, there have been seen sightings of a bedraggled demon who wanders the downside and bears Lendl's cruel countenance. He's a demon now? Fuck! Suggesting he yet lives. Okay, what happened to the witch? Man, this is me. I love her theme. It's very creepy. It's a banger. After the cycle of the rites had ceased, Witch Udmeld returned to the Flagging Hands region, where she sealed herself within the Pit of Millith. There, even her fellow exiles of the Withdrawn allegedly grew unnerved after a time and left her to leave her vile work. Sometime later, the Pit of Millith erupted into flame, so intense that conflagration that it could be seen all the way from Jomer Valley. Arson was suspected though. The cause was never verified, and many bog dwellers in the region were forced to flee. A tempest blowing from the north finally quenched the flames. When at last the ashes settled, the ground had cooled, and the site of fire was scarred beyond recognition. No trace of Witch Udmeld could be found. As for the contents of Pit of Millith, which notably include profane objects thought to be the remains of Islak, all of it was gone as well. Back in the Saurian Union, our nation formed 89 AS after the fall of Commonwealth. One day we all may stand shoulder to shoulder with a common cause. Udmeld's repeated threats of return of Islak were thoroughly investigated, with no credence found to any of her claims. Okay, I wanna know this dog boy. As the cycle of the rites drew to a close, it grew evident that a chance of freedom from the downside had forever slipped from Dalbert and Almer Oldheart's grasp. Last day, and the exiles of the Fate returned to Jomer Valley, where they struggled to get by, as exiles of the downside tend to do. Sometime after rites had ended, the Oldhearts at last heard the news that Commonwealth had fallen. This was well after the fact, of course, but it brought the Oldheart great joy. Despite his forthright manner, he had no life for the nation that cast him down, along with his son. Dalbert Oldheart passed peacefully in his sleep before the next new moon. Rip in peace, dude. In his final days, he implored his son to undertake the pilgrimage to the scribes. Almer never shared his father's view of scribes, but respected Dalbert's wishes. So after a period of mourning, Almer began a new journey. One day, during his travels, he ran almost headlong into another exile after paying homage at the Spring of Jomer. He was stunned to find that this was none other than the one he knew as Bay, Alav Bay, from their days as the adversaries in the rites. Are they a couple now? Because I ship it. Bay was overjoyed to see him, though Almer was unable to bring himself to understand why. Eventually, of course, he did. They remained together, growing ever more accustomed to their new lives in the downside. Not a day went by Almer Oldhard did not think about his father and give thanks to him and speak to him at morning and at night. With that the star he had shown, surely Dalberts would be there among them, smiling down at his son and watching him and his kid. Hey, you coward fuck. What happened to you? After all his life, Sir Deluge had fled from one danger only to find himself fighting another. He has escaped the war-torn waters of the Sea Dominion, he had escaped the blood border of the Commonwealth, and now he has escaped the rites. After the rites had ended, many exiles wrapped up in the ancient tests were crestfallen, as their last chance to return to their homes vanished, along with the stars above. But Deluge did not mind, for this outcome meant that, at last, there was no burden of responsibility weighing down on him. While most of his fellow exiles of the Pyre hearts yet longed to the waters of the Sea Dominion, driven as ever by their impulses toward conflict, Deluge settled down. With him remained one of his companions, one Lady Seagrass, who had taken liking to him for some reason. Reportedly, they disappeared in the waters of the Worm Gulf, which may begin to explain the significant increase in worm population of— oh. They fucked like rabbits. Hey, what happened to you? Yeah, rock on, bro. Okay. Barker Ashpaws never had much interest in returning to the Commonwealth, for he always found its bylaws to be stifling. So when the rites ended, he did not care at first. He soon grew very bored. The rites had given his life a certain sense of structure he had always needed. He missed the raw anticipation of it all. He decided to continue conducting the rites for the thrill of it. He bent some of the rules and replaced some of the objects, but it was close enough. His packmates, the dissidents, proved more than happy to participate, thus they ran against each other back in the Jomir Valley. Gradually, other exiles familiar with the rites, as well as those who had not heard of it at all, started to take interest. They ended up giving Barker Ashpaw some healthy competition. His old feud with Rookie Greentail ceased meaning to anything to him, and he forgot all about it amid his new pursuits. Oh, that's great. Ultimately, even Barker Ashpaws, who had led such directionless existence at that point, found something of a calling through the rites. Whether he took the rites less seriously than any other exile of his time, or more, was oft-debated by those who watch him work. Okay. That's a lot of people. Okay, let's check Tamitha first. As soon as possible, after Tamitha Thane earned back her liberty, she rejoined her sister of the Highwing Remnants in the mountains north of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth believed that someone such as she could be rehabilitated through years spent in exile. Instead, her hatred for her ancient enemies only intensified. What's this? Inspired the liberated exiles, the people of the Commonwealth demanded new leadership. On the night of Scribe's return, the Highwing Remnants were poised to strike as the Commonwealth in a decisive blow. They had received credible intelligence about the expected position of the Commonwealth's leadership, and for specific weakness in the blood border defenses anticipated that night. After a surgical procedure, Tamitha could fly again, almost as well as prior to her exile. She insisted on spearheading the attack with a squadron of Harv's finest. They descended on the foes exactly as planned. The chaos that had risen in the street of Commonwealth that night made for an optimal diversion. Nonetheless, the battle took its toll. Many of Tamitha's sisters fell. She herself sustained many grievous wounds, but ignored them all and fought with terrible fury. Did she die? By dawn, the leaders of the Commonwealth had been eliminated, and Tamitha was limping back towards the mountain. She would never fly again. Soon after the fall of Commonwealth, Tamitha attended a debriefing in which her blood sister Pamitha was also in attendance. Tamitha was very skeptical that Pamitha could have played a beneficial role in the preceding events and lashed out at her. Pamitha made no attempt to elude the attack and was struck full on. This caused Pamitha use of her right wing, and yet, after she recovered, she shrugged the incident aside and said maybe they would call it even now. From that point on, the Blood Sisters kept a formal distance, but were cordial with each other. After the rise of Saurian Union, Tamitha Thane continued to serve as flight tactician and remains respected and feared even among her kind. However, without a war to wage, she grew more distant than even as usual. Those closest to her surmised that her inability to reconcile with her blood sister was the heart of this. Though for her part, Tamitha never once admitted to any such weakness. Okay, this fucker. Let's see what the fuck happened to this guy. He's a slimy ball. After returning to the Commonwealth, manly Tinderstaff soon earned his place among the country's veiled leaders. However, it did not lead to the extravagance which he imagined. The Commonwealth was in midst of social upheaval, and the leaders of the nation scrambled to find a way to quell the public outcry. Tinderstaff saw it as an opportunity to get ahead, and presented an outlandish idea. He confronted the teeming masses and delivered a speech in which he claimed to be Luz Chlorian 100 Minds, reborn, and ordered the people to stand down. It was then that someone threw an empty bottle at him. Outraged, Tinderstaff ordered the Constable of Peace to sweep the crowd to find the perpetrator. During the commotion, the assault of the Nightwing has begun. Tinderstaff was later found cowering under a stairwell. After the fall of Commonwealth, he struggled to hold into his fleeting social status and resorted once again to the kinds of bribery attempts that got him long ago. He was caught again and put on trial again, and though this time was not exile but community service. Tinderstaff used his family to fight back against the censored and soon was destitute. He can still be seen cleaning the streets and parks at the center of Saurian Union. There he is more willing to give his side of the story for whoever asks, or is in earshot. Okay, I didn't know anything about you. Having returned to the Commonwealth. I love his music too. Dun, 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 dun. Having returned to the Commonwealth, Ignaris experienced little trouble integrating back into society. For one thing, no one had seen demons such as he, something he used to draw a crowd at the public house he founded. It did not survive the fall of Commonwealth, but his former establishment, the Starry Eight, did. He was welcomed back and was soon put in charge. He never remained alone for a very long time. He took on many lovers in this time. However, he sometimes thought about the one he called Curly Horns and what became of her. Oh, Jody. Though his glory days and most powerful conductor of the rites had long since passed, he always enjoyed the fearsome reputation he had cultivated at that time. Oralek, what the fuck happened to you? After the math? What? In the aftermath of the final liberation rite, Oralek at last returned to his nation, one he had not seen in nearly 2 decades. His scars recognized it. After all, it was the midst of transformation, a social and cultural upheaval sparked by Volfred's Sunwold plan. As peacefully as possible. Well, that didn't work out. When Oralek witnessed the people of the Commonwealth gathered solidarity under the black sky there, on the night of Scribe's return, he looked in silence for a time. Then the high-wing remnants descended, and a panic quickly spread among those gathered. A pitched battle erupted in the street. It was chaos. Oralek observed all of this, then took a step forward toward the fray. He knelt beside the closest injured man to him. He staunched the man's bleeding and set an injured leg, then pulled him to a safer corner of the street. Ah, he's a doctor again. Oralek's old ability as a physician had not left him during all his years. Thus he aid as many as he could throughout the night, until the danger passed. History would know him as the Demon Doctor, a term of endearment that struck even after his horn started to recede. He lent his skill and service throughout the birth of the Saurian Union. Having witnessed the aftermath of Sandalwood's plan, Orlick understood at last what his former companion wanted. Years ago, they conceived a version of this plan. Now Orlick found he wished Sandalwood could be present to witness the reality of it. Alone with his thoughts, Orlick would sometimes visit the memorial to the fallen leaders of the Commonwealth. Though other than such appearance, and notwithstanding his duties as Master Physician of the state, Orlick led a very private life. Few would have guessed he was once the most accomplished rites conductors in the history of the Nightwings. History, of course, shall ensure we shall not forget. Okay. We're gonna start with Celeste. Oof. It's a double whammy. After the cycle of the rite ceased turning, the Lone Minstrel bade the remaining Nightwings take the Black Wagon and seek their fortunes elsewhere in the downside. Their parting was heartfelt but brief. He remained there, at the summit of Mount Alodiel with Celeste, where the two of them would chronicle the final outcome of the cycle. Neither Tariq nor Celeste were ever seen again. You all know this now through song attributed to them. Some claim this song originated from the taverns of the Sarian Union and merely were imbued with weight of folklore. However, exiles liberated from the downside corroborated each other's claims at having met this duo presided over the liberation rites. Their folktales suggest these minstrels were heralds of the scribes. Having fulfilled their obligation, they departed the world we know and were joined their patrons. One of their famous songs describes another simpler outcome. The two gave up their duties to the rites in favor of a life that they could share together. Ah, that's cool. In any case, they are likely to remain the subject of such verses and such songs, for it was they who watched over the rites and ushered in our times. What happened to Falcon Ron? I'm really curious. With the rites drawn to a close, the slug market's revenue fell precipitously, and Falcon Ron was forced to liquidate his assets and close up shop. Yet, as is sometimes the case with those of an entrepreneurial leaning, this time, of hardship led to an epiphany. Or at least, a sudden change of fortune. One day, Falcon Ron had run in with a messenger imp bearing news from the other side. Ron gave it to the one of his remaining trinkets, which could not be sold. The following week, the messenger imp returned to him bearing tidy sum of wealth in newly minted coinage for Sarian Union. I wouldn't play this type of game, but I like watching it though. Never happens that I like watching a game that I wouldn't play. Oh yeah, that's completely understandable. I only got this game for free, and apparently it's very good. So I tried it, and it's actually very good. Because the gameplay is not something I always. It's basically a sports game in a visual novel, so I get why it's not for everybody. But the story is so good, though. The following week, the messenger imp returned to him bearing tidy sum of wealth in newly minted coinage from the Sarian Union. Falcon Ron cut a long-term deal with the messenger imp and then and there. Though this trade remained gray area for legal standpoint in Sarian Union, the newfound fame of the downside caused Falcon Ron's good to explode in popularity. Oh, good for him. He later signed an elaborate agreement with Big Bertrudes and found a distribution partner on the other side through Rookie Green. Okay, Rookie. Fucking hell yeah. Whose business had expanded. Especially in the Sarian Union, Falcon Ron goods are still known for their superior quality, though he assumes no liability for any side effects. Okay. Let's first Let's find out what happens to the people inside the downside. When the cycle of the right ceased turning, Wilfred Sandalwood turned toward the starless sky and closed his eyes and prayed. It was all that he could do at that stage of his plan. He aspired to assemble with liberated exile representing each of the 8 largest ethnic groups composing the population of the Commonwealth. They would stand together as a vision of the 8 scribes returned, inspiring the masses to embrace an older set of values from before the Commonwealth had tightened its grip. With the rites ending sooner than expected, this ideal scenario became impossible. Sandalwood's own freedom, for instance, was now forfeit. Yet the plan did have contingencies. Word reached him that on the night of Scribe's return, several of his fellow liberated Nightwings stood together, and their voices echoed through the streets. It was vital to Sandalwood that this stand against the Commonwealth be peaceful in its nature, but this proves to be untenable. Especially after the High-Wing remnants appeared. Man. Tamitha fucked things up, huh? There was a speculation that their well-timed assault may not have been happened by coincidence, though Sandalwood denied any involvement and regretted the bloodshed. Nevertheless, the main thrust of the plan had been achieved. Sandalwood kept busy after that, as much as possible, providing counsel from afar those who would be the forefront of the birth of the Sarian Union. Of course, being stranded in the downside meant that there was only so much he could do. Resting assured that the future of the nation was in capable hands, he turned his attention to remaining exiles in the downside. They might never return that new nation at least, but at least they could experience its triumphs, its struggles, in some vicarious ways, so he took his old work, writing and printing. As literacy began to spread again throughout the Sarian Union, so too did the exiles of the downside take to it. For his part, Sandalwood helped to teach many as he could. For more than that, he provided material to read semi-annual report about the latest event in both Sarian Union and the downside. This periodical gave many exiles something to look forward to. One of his allies, always Watzim, Tizo, with whom he traveled all across downside. Sandalwood often cited Tizo as the wellspring of his own enthusiasm for a brighter future. Such was the creature's spirit. He welcomed the company of the reader. Hey, that's me. The Nightwings at every opportunity, and counted him as a trusted friend and a keen editor. He was pleased to hear that his one-time friend Orlek had once more become a productive part of society. Yet he spoke little of their time together. As Wolfred Sandalwood gained more fame throughout this land for all the sacrifices and his contributions, it is said that he remained steadfast about two things. The first, that the cause of itself was to remain in focus. The freedom that the people had achieved, it was a gift to be cherished, a set of values that needed to be nurtured. The second point he made was that he himself had little to do with the outcome. He would often praise the exiles of the Nightwings who had stood with him, each in turn by name. He never forgot any of them. One day, to commemorate his birthday, the people of Sarian Union unveiled a monument depicting him. What? The Sarian Union unveiled a monument depicting him and the Nightwings as imagined in their prime. While Sandalwood did not learn of it until much later, it is said that he was moved to tears then by the gesture. It has since ensured that those of us with memories of more fallible than of that Sandalwood likewise remember the achievements of his former exiles in our cause. Okay. What happened to you, Bertrude? I also like her music. Several exiles of the Nightwings cared more for the plan of Sandalwood than return home from the downside. The crone called Beardbirder was a prime example. She had found a suitable environment to live by within the dismal region known as the Flagging Hands. There she had built up a thriving place of business known to many exiles in the land. With the rites having ended, she returned to her preoccupations, working away, almost as though nothing happened. Then one gets to be more than 400 years of age, perhaps then even monumental events such as culmination of the rites or the collapse of the Commonwealth are seen to be trifling matters. Much of her effort was doubtless due to the influence of Sandalwood, some whom she had admired now for decades. He had made her clear that he could not requite her feelings for him, but what could have been a hurtful dismissal led to only deeper understanding between them. By and large, Bertrude kept focused on her work, whether casting small enchantments or imbuing talismans. The work brought her a sense of purpose, she would say. In the Commonwealth, such services were strictly forbidden, but in the downside there was a real need for simple lecturers. which the competing slug market could not always provide. Thus did Big Bertrude continue to live up to her name, and tales of her days with the Nightwings made her that much more like a living legend. Okay, Jody, what happened to you? After the riots had ceased, Jodariel journeyed back to the downside prairie, where she helped restore Hollowroot to livable conditions. She became well known and sometimes feared throughout the land, and many exiles often sought her out for aid with various matters. She refused most such jobs except for one she believed to be just. She remained close with Hedwyn. All through this experience, they supported each other through their struggles many times. She kept an eye on Bay, who nonetheless demonstrated a surprising knack to get by on her own, though Jodariel was always willing to provide assistance just in case. She continued training on her own, a regimen that grew stricter with each passing year. There were those who sought to train with her. She sometimes obliged. There remained one other concern in her life. She would always remember her days among the Nightwings, with fondness for the most part. You had 2 chances, man. Faye. Long after the rites had ended, Bay admitted that she knew full well before the fact she would not be going home again. At least she had very strong feeling. She ended up not minding very much because she had little to return to the Commonwealth. Her sense of home had changed. She took wandering from the celestial landmark to the next, ever paying homage to the 8 scribes, who she believed had influenced all that transpired. She was no stranger to traveling alone, but was always happy to have company. Among her friends, she always remained close with Tizo, who more so than anyone could always make her laugh. She cited her relationship with Jodariel as the single most important in her life. Jodariel would always provide her a circumspect perspective and the wisdom of experience. Whenever she felt genuine doubt, which was never very often, she sought out the reader of the Nightwings. If there was anyone whom she trusted as much as the scribes, it was him. Hey, that's sweet. But what happened to me, though? Did I just become an editor? One day she encountered one of her former adversaries, one called Almer Allheart, who had served the Fate. She remembered him much more than he did her, though only just at first. Their shared experience with the rites and their different point of views about the scribes formed the basis of what grew to be a long-lasting relationship. Good for you guys. Bay always devoted to her faith, but more so to her friends. Her gentle manner and unwavering conviction often helped them brave life in the downside, both with courage and with grace. After the riots had ended, Hedwyn decided to make a trip down the base of Mount Alodiel. Along the way, he invited other remaining members of the Nightwings to join him. As he was unable to return to the Commonwealth, the news of the country's upheaval brought him much anxiety and sometimes joy. One day, he was wandering through the downside prairie. He could scarce believe his eyes at what he saw. There, her wings as brilliant as the sky, was the harp, Fikani Shang. What? How did she get here? The two had shared a love that led Hedwyn's exile. He longed for her freedom so that he might see her once again. She knew that he was alive, for by then his name was quite well known throughout the Sarian Union. The practice of exile has ceased, but she cast herself down anyway. There in the downside, they remained together. Through it all, he often confided in his friend Jodariel. The two would always remain close, and Jodariel and Fikani would eventually become good friends as well. Hedwyn would often think back about the vow he made at the beginning of his quest for freedom. Although he cherished all the friendship he made, he had pledged to Jodariel, Rookie Greentail, and the reader of the Nightwings that they might all be free again together. We're not together though. They had broken that vow, for in the end, not all of them were able to return, a terrible guilt over his darkened mood for a time. However, the others whom he still knew lifted his spirits, much like he had often lifted theirs. All of the Nightwings knew the stakes. But the others who stood with the Nightwings were not all able to remain contactless. Hedwyn thought of each of them often. So in turn, they did often think of him. Nice for Hedwyn, dude. Once the rise had ended, the imp Tizo had a job to do. Quite unlike most exiles trapped in forever the downside. The lone minstrel asked who watched over the Black Wagon, which the Nightwings had used extensively for travel, for shelter, and all throughout their quest. Tizo obliged, for he knew that wagon, as well as its drive inhabitants perhaps better than anyone. What became of the wagon? Exactly was never verified, as evidence of Tizo's thorough work. After that, he liked to while away his days with any of his friends, or else with his fellow imps. He would visit his friend Bay at every opportunity. She was among the few who could consistently interpret what he meant, and they were always close since they first met. Sandra would sometimes call for his assistance. Tizo was always happy to oblige. The two would often reminisce about their times with the lone minstrel. He often chirped about the reader of the Nightwings, whom he built quite a rapport. The reader understood him perhaps better than anyone. Indeed, Tizo would often express his wistful gratitude for all his time with the Nightwings, and their many adventures throughout the land that was always his home. Other than that, Tizo would sometimes help interpret messages of imps relaying news to and from the Sarian Union. Despite having gained significant celebrity abroad, he never let it go to his head. And he would go fishing in the Sea of Solis every single chance he got. Okay, Sandra, what happened to you? After the cycle, ceased turning, records of what happened to the Black Wagon of the Nightwings become inconclusive and contradictory. Some accounts, what the fuck? Some accounts suggest that the exiles of the Nightwings who remained in the downside continue to make use of the Black Wagon as their place of shelter and their means of travel. However, there's no record of what happened to the wagon's contents, such as the Book of Rites or the Beyonder Crystal, said to be haunted by the Sandra, the Unseeing. One possibility, though, that when the lone minstrel took his leave, he took the Beyonder Crystal with him, for he was thus obliged. By this line of reasoning, however, the Black Wagon itself should have been taken also. Others remain skeptical that the Beyonder Crystal ever existed, or rather that the visions that it granted were anything but the result of an active imagination or fever dream. The bug dwellers of the southern bugs offer still another explanation, for they are familiar with binding enchantment. If there existed such an object, in which the sister of the Arch had been expelled for more than 800 years, then the enchantment could have expired along with the light of the stars. What would have meant for Sandra and the Beyonders is difficult to say for certain, other than it may have meant they were finally released. Nevertheless, the fates of Sandra and the Beyonder Crystal remain unknown. I have it with me. Yet those exiles of the Nightwings who claim to have seen this apparition all spoke of her with degrees of reverence or perhaps a little fear. Can you believe this, reader? Honestly? Sandra has appeared before you as well, you can see. They're so far from the mark with all this nonsense, I want to laugh. In fact, here it goes. She laughs. She is referring to the account of her. You sense she does not care for it. Well, let them gossip all they like. I merely wish that they would mention you, at least in the passing. And the next they are at it, though they shall never know even half of it, shall they? Seems irritated by the incomplete ritual. Oh, it's fine. Look at it could be worse. Humor her. You indicate, Sandra, that the real truth of what happened between you would perhaps make too lascivious to be told in such a format. She makes a bemused sound at this. Perhaps the story ought to get out then. To think they would all go to trouble to make literacy accepted once again, only to print such drivel. Anyway, let us keep going, lovely reader. We know the truth of it. That is what matters. She fades into the Beyonder Crystal for now, and you tuck it away safe. Okay, that's cool. Let's start with Sir Gilman. When the worm Gilman returned to the Commonwealth, he believed that he had regained something even more important than his freedom, his honor. Gilman relinquished his knighthood and declined an opportunity to serve as a captain of the Blood Border. He was not interested in fighting any longer. Yet, as is sometimes the case with those such as he, a circumstance soon came about in which there came a need for him to once again make use of his military training. He fought. That night of the scribe's return, he fought with all his might. He faced other worm knights. He cared only for the cause. When the matter was last put to the rest, then Gilman truly knew his time as knight had ended. He declared to all those in earshot that he would never fight again. Unless, of course, there arose some other extraordinary set of circumstances again requiring him to fight. But he certainly hoped not. He still trained regularly just in case, especially with his fleet-footed friend, Rookie Greentail. Oh, they're friends now. He was always grateful for having studied under the reader of the Nightwing, without whom he would never have completed his penance. Because of this, perhaps because they were on opposite sides of the world now, Gilman dedicated his life to him. By that point, he had long forgotten about his days under the leadership of Sir Deluge, his former commander, who was a packing coward. Breaking free of his abusive leadership was his first step toward gaining a bit of self-respect. Gilman never did return to his homeland of the Sea Dominion, and was content to lead the monastic life on a small residence in the hills. It was high up enough to make him keep striving to conquer his fear of heights. Other than that, an intense daily training regimen and the occasional visit from an old companion was more than enough to keep him optimistic and engaged. He knew by then that honor was not something to be won, but a contract with oneself to be renewed each day. What happened to you, Rookie? I know you had the shop now. After Rookie Greentail earned back his freedom, he returned to a lavish welcome ceremony in the Commonwealth, as was tendency for liberated exiles. It was everything he could have hoped for, and soon he was well off, surrounded by luxury, and choosing between various exciting opportunities. However, he must have given in to his better judgment, as he did end up siding with Volfred Sandalwood's revolutionary forces as he promised. On the night of Scribe's return, Greentail kept busy barking orders to Volfred's agent as the situation grew tenser. He took rather well to leadership. When dawn finally came, it became clear that the Commonwealth that everybody knew would be no more. He realized many new opportunities awaited. He began quite a lucrative career for himself, manufacturing and selling replica merchandise inspired by the downside. His main struggle was to meet demand. An aspect of his conscience cautioned him against making light of such a thing, but the money was too good, and soon his family was well off, as he always said. One of his orders of business was to seek out one of his old companions, Pamitha Thane, to whom he took a liking during his quest for freedom. They bonded over for love of drink and supported one another through uncertain times that lay in store. He also kept close in touch with Gilman, ever the perfect practice partner. They would train together often, taking care to stay in tip-top shape as much as possible throughout the years. Greentail always did his best to keep in touch with all his many friends, and knew that he owed his fortunes to them. He made special point of staying close with a group of friends he came to know so well during his time in the Nightwings, wherever they were. They shared a special understanding that put even Greentail at a loss for words sometimes. Okay, Pamitha, what you got? After a Man, music is so good. After regaining her freedom, Pamitha Thane found herself in a difficult position. Having once betrayed her people of the Highwing Remnant, she knew that she would not be welcome in her native home. She did not trust the Commonwealth either. Instead, she found her place among Volfred Sandalwood's agents, who were busy doing part to fulfill the plan. The plan took certain unexpected turns, but in the end, resulted that the outcome Sandalwood had envisioned. It was fortunate that the Highwing Remnants arrived when they did on the night of the Scribe's return. However, Pamitha denied any involvement with or foreknowledge of this. Afterward, Pamitha played an active part in negotiating terms between the Highwing Remnants and the new nation that would become the Sarian Union. Her previous attempt of something of the sort led to her exile. She must have felt some satisfaction to succeed this time around. Sometime later, Pamitha had an unexpected run-in with Rookie Greentail. whom she had spent a fair amount of time with while traveling with the Nightwings. Under this new set of circumstances, it turned out the two had a lot more to talk about rather than more in common. They'd often put to test which one was able to outdrake the other. It is unclear as to which one of them prevailed in that contest in the end. One day, Pamitha received invitation to return to the Highwing Remnants where she was to be fully pardoned. That where she ran into her blood sister Tamitha for the first time since her exile. Their reunion was not amicable as Pamitha might have hoped. Tamitha, still resentful of their history together, turned violent. Pamitha would later brush aside the incident, though always had an injuries to show for it. Yet from that point on, the blood sisters were back on speaking terms, at least for the most part. Later, when asked, Pamitha Tain admitted she felt as though she had no home to call her own. This was during an interview conducted amid an extensive trip abroad, for she had traveled thousands of leagues beyond the bounds of the Saurian Union. Pamitha continued to journey thus, I think that reminded her of when she was younger, and could fly unfettered. There's one more account which warrants mention. The Nightwings conducted the raids under the guidance of a reader. Little is known of him. However, some accounts of him begin to paint a picture. We know he was of common birth. Hey, that's insulting. Okay, guys. That's an insult? I take offense to that. Weak-framed, though raised with penchant for learning. The journey to the downside left him close to death. It was then that the Nightwings found him. They brought him for a brink, and he showed them the path. That's it. He pressed onward with the others. He vowed the Commonwealth would pay for what he did to him. Thus did the cycle of the rise commence its final turns. By the time the final rite arrived, the reader knew he could not go free. In the end, like so many others, he remained an exile. From that point on, accounts of him diverge. There's a game for free on Steam that's normally 12 euros. Is it free for the weekend or actually free to own though? Like, sometimes they just do free weekends and then great discount during that time. It is said that the voice which troubled him, he never heard again. Some say he opted for a place to settle in the downside, though whether that is true, only he knows. Free to own? Oh, that's good. Nice. Someday perhaps the reader's own star shall emerge. Then it shall pierce the dark of the night in all its brilliant glory. Until such time, and ever after, all of us give thanks. 100% off.
Their journey began on a barren waste where the reader arrived, afraid and alone. When he arrived, the book of rights awakened the Nightwings and ignited the flame. They follow the stars, bound together, strands in our brain till the end. We sing of the last of the Nightwings who, having broken the cycle, shall live on in song.
Headwind remained and proved to all that is
Ah, this is so good. Gotta stop talking now.
Rookie Greentail has proved his worth and returned to his family by the grace of the scribes. They follow the stars, bound together, strands in a braid till the end.
The moon-touched girl feels the scribes in the heart of the downside. She remained to the end. Tease, oh, the wise, ever faithful to the cause of the night wings. He remained to the end.
Sir Gilman the Bold, ever in his quest, finding honor and glory, he has found his way home. Pamith the Thane, having pleased the scribe, seeking only forgiveness, she has found her way home. They follow the stars, bound together, strands in a braid till the end.
Okay, hey man. Have a nice day. See you around.
The great mastermind.
I think I'm gonna end it after this.
Sandalwood saw his plans turn to action. He remained
Yeah, good
to
night.
the end.
Is it nighttime for you? But yeah, it's nighttime for me, so good night.
Dweller Gertrude kept their foes at bay with her finest enchantments.
Yeah, it's nighttime.
She remained till the end.
Man, this music, this art.
The reader at last
Okay, see you. Thanks for dropping by, man.
wings whole, having
It's midday, and have a good afternoon.
he remained till the end.
They follow the stars, bound together, strands in a braid till the end. They follow the stars, bound
Hey, thank you for enjoying it. See ya, dude. Man, this game's so good. Don't get sick. Oh, I'll try not to get sick.
as we bid fair.
It's literally in my city now, so.
We shall find our way home. We shall find our way home. We shall find our way home.
This is an amazing game, holy shit. Oh shit, is that me? What's happening? It was all a dream. the end. Whew. Man, Supergiant Games are amazing at making games. I hope they do well. True Nightwing campaign mode unlocked. But anyway, I think that's gonna be the end of the stream for today. It's an early call, but I wanted to end it at that. It's a very good ending. So, thank you guys for joining me. I keep looking at the wrong fucking mic. I'm on the right side now. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoy. And we're probably gonna play Hades transitionally until maybe Doom Eternal? Yeah, probably until the Doom Eternal. But until then, I thank you for joining me. Have a good day, good night, good afternoon, whatever you're having. Until then, thank you guys. That was such an amazing game.